Well, hello there, friends. Or should I say, welcome, company, because today we are discussing Stephen Sondheim's wonderful musical, Company. That's right. Welcome back to Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and this is week 2 of our Teacup for One Stephen Sondheim musical marathon. Normally, if you're joining us at this time of day on this channel, you know that we do movie marathons, but I love Sondheim, and anyone who's anyone also loves Sondheim, even if they don't realize it. So it's been a thrilling month. I mean, we're only 1 week in, but it's going to be a thrilling month of just celebrating one of the most wonderful gifts to contemporary theater of all time. I adore Sondheim, which might not have been obvious if you watched last week's show, where I was just complaining about how much I dislike and am confused by Sunday in the Park with George. But now we're moving into the phase of the month where I love all of the shows. So today we're talking about Company. It's a musical from, I believe, 1970, or maybe a little bit later. I didn't do the research. And it's it's an early example of a concept musical. It's not one of the first concept musicals, but it was probably one of the earlier commercially successful concept musicals. And I can't really tell you what a concept musical is. I get the vague concept, but it's a musical where you don't have a traditional narrative, and it's mostly just an exploration of a certain theme through different characters. And so Company is all about Bobby on his 35th birthday, or her 35th birthday, because the show was recently revived and rewritten, and it's a very exciting thing. But it's about a character named Bobby on their 35th birthday. They're perpetually single. All of their friends are married, and it's just an exploration of what it means to be single in the 20th and now I guess the 21st century, when all of your friends are married and having kids, and then you're just there like, I guess I'm the third wheel, and then they sing about it. It's a delight. Let's see who we have here in the chat. We have my cat, Sabrina. Happy Wednesday to you, Sabrina. Eliza, Meowth. This is another confusing play. Yes, see, Eliza, it's because it's a concept musical. There's no linear narrative. And so that's why you just have to pay attention to the relationships and what people are talking about, singing about, and just like get little nuggets of insight. Although I'll be honest, I've watched this musical a ton of times, like the one very specific recording that I asked everyone to watch before tonight's show, but I've also seen it live a few times, and like I'm still confused by it, but in a good way. I like things that make me think, and this makes me think, unless it's Sunday in the Park with George, because that made me think in angry ways. Martha says, good evening, everyone. Hello, hello. Bob Hunt is here. Bobby, baby, Bobby, booby, Bob. They say Bobby so many times in this musical. How many? We might need to know that information later on. Magic in the Music is here. Oh, it's my favorite music teacher, my favorite flautist. It's Jen from Magic in the Music. Jen, I'm so happy to have you. I can't wait to hear what you think about this musical. And Elizabeth. We have so many friends here. I love this. Well, we don't just have friends in the chat. We have friends waiting to come on and join us in the show as well, making their debut here on Teacup for One. I am so proud to introduce my treasured acquaintance. Just kidding. He's a very dear friend. It's Finn Cuthbert. Everyone.
I'm so honored. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me as a treasured acquaintance.
Absolutely. So Finn, how are you? Tell the people, you're new here. Tell the people who you are, what you do.
Hi, I'm Finn. I have been involved in theater and music pretty much my whole life. More recently, I've become a writer as well of theater, particularly composing music. And yeah, big fan of Sondheim. I'm sort of a actor, performer, writer based in the Toronto area, trying to live up to the standards that Sondheim set for everybody.
Aren't we all? Finn, what are your plans for your 35th birthday?
Oh God. Well, hopefully by that point, I'll have, for my 35th birthday, you know what, I'll set the line right now. I'll have a musical on Broadway. So I'll be able to celebrate that.
Done. That's better than my answer. My 35th birthday was in the middle of a global lockdown.
Ah, well, that makes it less than ideal.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, things had slowly started to open up. So movie theaters were open again. So I got to go see Death on the Nile in a movie theater. So I got popcorn. It was decent. It's Kenneth Branagh, who actually I have a complicated relationship with his movies, because I like him in theory, but then I watch his movies and I'm reminded I don't like his movies. But I liked that one. That's
the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, right?
It is, and we're getting another one at the end of this year.
Wow.
I know. It involves like psychics, I think, and possession, and Michelle Yeoh, and we love her.
Yeah. Another
Yes.
opportunity to remind yourself how you don't like Kenneth Branagh.
Exactly. No, well, okay. No, I'm going to take that back. I don't like him when he directs Shakespeare movies, which
Fair
is
enough.
ironic because that's his main thing. I like most everything else. I love Cinderella, which I didn't care for when it first came out, but revisiting it, best Disney live action remake until Little Mermaid, but we'll see. And there it is. But yeah, okay. Let's bring in our next guest for tonight. It's Lisa, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Lisa, I'm excited to have you. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank
How about
you.
you? What are your 35th birthday plans?
Oh, wow. Well, I have a few years to go. I'm
How dare you?
still planning my 30th.
Okay, what about your 30th? I guess that's your next milestone birthday.
I want to go to Portugal for my 30th.
Nice.
Yes, it was supposed to happen in 2020. That didn't happen.
Right.
So gonna make it my 30th birthday mission. Very excited. And by the time I'm 30, I'd love to have a musical written. Doesn't need to be on Broadway. Could stay in Toronto.
I set the bar too high. I'm sorry.
I was like, oh my God, Broadway. My goodness. No, but that's a good goal to have. So
that is a good goal to have. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm excited to hear what you think about this show, Lisa. Let's bring in maybe our last guest for tonight. I'm not sure. Other friends might show up later, but who knows? Who knows? So here we are again, first time ever on the channel, guest of honor, I might say. I'm honored to have all of you, but this person is actually in a production of Company that's going to be opening soon. It's Tim Clark, aka Bobby himself.
no way.
Yeah. Look, there
Hello.
he is. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. And also, you're the only one on screen I can ask this. What did you do for your 35th birthday?
That would have been in 2019, so slightly pre-pandemic. And I'm guessing I spent it with my wife and daughter. Probably. It would be weird if I was somewhere else on my birthday, away from my immediate family. Yeah, I don't know. It's all a blur.
That's fair.
There may have been. I probably had pie. Birthday
What kind
pie.
of pie? What is that your go-to birthday pie?
Probably a
Is that
lemon
okay?
meringue pie.
Delicious.
Typically. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh yeah. So Tim, you're new here. Tell us about you.
Well, by day, I'm a voiceover artist and audiobook narrator. As you can probably tell, I'm sitting in a closet. And by night, I'm a theater person, theater producer, sometimes theater performer.
Delightful. And you're doing Company right now. I gave it away, but
Yes. I mean, we
Yes.
haven't even done our read through yet, but we will be doing Company, God willing. We announced it originally, so I'm actually one of the producers of the show, in addition to playing Bobby. So you don't have to wonder how that ended up happening. But it's a vanity project. But
I love those. I stand behind those 100%.
Me too, apparently. I have no other choice at this point. I've agreed to it. It's going to be great. But we announced it. So we announced it in, I think, April of 2020 or something for September of 2020. As you may recall, this was in the early days of the pandemic when we thought surely by September the world will be ready for musical theater performances in really small spaces. So my company is in downtown Guelph. We're the Downtown Theater Project of Guelph, and we do our shows in spaces that seat like 40 people. So that was like the epitome of theater that was not going to be happening in 2020. So that production of Company was canceled, and then we're finally doing it now, 3 years later.
Brilliant. Well, better late than never for all theater, really.
Yeah, and I guess I was 35 the
Nice.
first time we were going to do it. I was age appropriate. Now I'm slightly too old.
No, I'd still believe you was 35.
Thank you. I was
even
hoping you'd say that.
29. Even 29.
Even 29.
I'd give you 29.
I
Wow.
could clock you at 29.
This is how I'm best viewed, I think, in
In a closet.
a dark
lighting.
closet.
Yeah.
lit only by the webcam's ring light. This is horrific. You all look so nice in your rooms.
And you look nice in the closet, Tim. So there we
Thank you.
go.
Thank
There
you.
it is. Oh my gosh, Broadway Disney fan is here from my Instagram friend. Right? Here we go. What an intimate space for company, indeed. Okay, so let's talk about this musical. So for Tim and Finn, first time friends, typically opening question, I like to just investigate how all of our guests came to discover whatever the thing we're talking about is. So if you have any memory of the first time you viewed the thing, saw the thing. Normally we're talking about movies, so it's a bit more straightforward, but I mean, company, there's so many ways you could have come across it, whether it be a live performance or whatever. So for me, I don't remember. So there we go. I'm almost positive it was the Raul Esparza production, like the pro shoot, that is kind of the foundation for what I'd like to talk about tonight, but also just in my heart, since that's the first full company I saw, that will always be the company in my mind. So I compare every other production to that one. And I think something that's so fascinating. No, I'll get to that later. First impressions. I was just so engaged by it, by the characters, by the music, especially Not Getting Married Today. I think that was the thing that, like, that was the song that sold me on it, because I knew there was kind of a stereotype for Sondheim songs being fast and wordy, but I wasn't even prepped for that. When it happened, I just thought, oh my gosh, what have I been sleeping on all this time? This is incredible, especially Heather Laws in this production, doing it faster, I think, than most people do. So good. So solid first impression. It confused me then, it confuses me now, and I'm eager to talk about it. Finn, how about you?
Yeah, I think the first instance of like knowing about company was probably like early on in when I was in high school. I remember looking for male solos, and company was a good, Marry Me a Little was in most of the rep books that I was looking through. Quickly fell in love with that song at the age where I, no idea who Sondheim was, no idea who, any of the shows that he had done. Was like, my knowledge on music theater was very limited at the time. But I fell in love with that song, went searching for more songs from this show, and I believe the Raul Esparza version was the first that I saw as well. But I do remember quite distinctly I want to say, I don't know what birthday it was, but shortly after I fell in love with the show and the music, my mother bought me a DVD copy of the Raul Esparza production. And that sort of continued the love for the show. And for a little while, it was my favorite musical.
Wait, what usurped it?
Hadestown.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Good choice. Respectable choice. Yeah, I used to do script work in acting school with this production of Company, just playing in the background as soothing background music, as it were, and just like background visuals, just to look up. And I think since it is so disjointed, it lends itself well to that. Like, you just get a little nugget of goodness and then go back to learning about Saddam Hussein's family, because that's script work I was doing. Well,
lovely.
Yeah, I know, right? Here we go. Bob Hunt. I'm 48, but that absolutely counts, Bob Hunt. 100%. Yes. My first. Oh yeah, Neil Patrick Harris did a concert. Okay, we'll discuss that. That's a thing that happened. Saw a local production, and then the recent. Oh my gosh! And I'm so excited to talk about the revival and the tour. Fun fact: the woman who's playing Bobby in the tour, I saw play Barbara in Beetlejuice, the musical in Buffalo, and like, Barbara's not the best role. Like, obviously it's one of the more prominent roles, but like, it's not a good role, really, especially comparative to how important Barbara and Adam are in the movie. But with the little she had, she did so well. And even at the stage door, I went super stage door fan, which I don't do as much in my old age, but I got her autograph and said, "You were phenomenal." And now she's Bobby, and I wish I could see it, because she's so good. That's all. Lisa, how about you?
How did I come?
Yeah, how'd you discover Company? Yeah.
In musical theater class in high school, I remember hearing like a snippet or two of some songs, because the guys did a lot of the songs in the show. And I remember my music theater teacher talking about Company when we were talking about our Sondheim unit. And at the time, as like a 16, 17-year-old, I was like, this sounds like the boringest piece of garbage ever. I'm not interested in like trying to find it. I'm not interested in like listening to the female songs. I'm just not going to touch it. And I kind of have been going through life with that opinion until Matt, you were like, we're doing Sondheim and Company's part of the list. And I was like, oh shit, I guess this is the time to introduce myself to Company. So it was this first time. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Oh, love a fresh take. All right, Tim, how about you? How did you discover this musical?
Well, I saw the John Doyle production with Raul Esparza on PBS.
Good.
Yeah, and was totally drawn into it. I would have been in my mid-20s at that point, so starting to come online in terms of having the concerns that Bobby and the other characters have in the show. And it was like the pledge drive thing came up after the show, and I was like, $80 for a DVD, that seems reasonable. And then I thought better of it and paid much less money to buy it at the mall or something. This was before, this isn't before the internet, but I'm just old fashioned like that.
Oh, well, physical media was still the only way you could see a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
even like 4 or 5 years ago, physical media was still, until we got Disney Plus, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But a savvy 25-year-old man would have just gone on Amazon and bought the DVD.
True.
But not me.
You were committed to supporting PBS.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I scrambled to the phone and called whatever. Yeah. I didn't do that.
Tim, do you still have my DVD of Evening Primrose?
You should ask that. You know what? It's probably in an adjacent closet in my apartment, probably in a box, but because I don't get rid of anything.
Okay, good.
So I do still have it.
My thought process just now was, oh yeah, what was that Sondheim piece that I searched really hard to find on DVD? That was like Evening Primrose. And I thought, wait a second, I don't have that anymore. Why not? I thought, wait.
Yeah, it was that was me. I was thinking about Evening Primrose today and wondering if you would bring that up live on the.
I actually forgot about it until just now. It wasn't an intention. It wasn't in my notes, but what happens, and there we go.
Here we are.
And Evening Primrose now has more significance to me because when you lent that to me, I didn't realize that Anthony Perkins was my 8th cousin once removed. So now that I know that, it's like, hey, cousin Tony, I got to see all of his work. And
except weren't you already a prominent Anthony Perkins fan, as it were?
Psycho's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it at least 10 times, and so
wild.
So to find out that we are very, very distantly related was pretty cool. It was a feather in my cap.
Have you seen the movie he wrote with Sondheim?
The murder mystery?
Yeah.
No, but I would like to see it.
So would I. I almost programmed it for this, and then I forgot to. That's the end of the story. Yeah. He wrote one movie, Sondheim, and it was with Anthony Perkins. It's a murder mystery. It's called The Last of Sheila, and by all reports, it's perfectly okay. And and I want to see it one day. Yeah.
They were good, close friends in real life.
They were.
Yes.
Yes.
Very close. Some biographies say, and they would host murder mystery parties. That was the impetus for them doing a murder mystery film.
I would have loved to go to a Sondheim Perkins murder mystery.
Can you imagine?
That'd be wild. I can, and I want to. There it is. All right, so back to Company, this musical. Was Anthony Perkins ever Bobby? It just feels like he should have been.
Yeah, he was at some point. I don't know if it was during rehearsals, but he was attached to it, and he walked out, and then he was replaced by Dean Jones.
Yeah, he was interested in directing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
nice.
originally he was directing it when it was a series of one-act plays, and then he gave the script to Sondheim, who gave the script to Hal Prince, and Hal Prince was like, "This is a musical, Steve," and then they turned it into a musical, and shortly thereafter, Perkins abandoned it for reasons unknown, creative
That's sad.
differences.
That's
Yeah.
sad, but well, whatever. We got the company we got, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So it all worked out, and Anthony Perkins is still Norman Bates. It all worked out for him too. So
Yes.
hooray! So what did everyone think revisiting Company for this stream, or if you didn't have time to watch anytime recently, just how have your thoughts on it evolved? I'll go last this time. Let's go first. Lisa, you go first.
I'll
You go
go
first, Lisa.
Because I am the freshest
Yeah.
here with Company. Yeah, so I watched it today and I came into it very apprehensive. I was like, oh my God, it's a show that I don't think I can like relate to. It has a male lead, which seemingly doesn't seem to like, I don't know, like I couldn't see it from the outside as a way for me to relate. And then I started watching it, and then I started Googling, Raoul and the other people in the piece that you assigned us to watch. And I was like, okay, hold on. Wait, like Barbara Walsh is an icon and Raoul is an amazing performer, and this musical kind of has a lot going for it, and I completely related to it by the end of it. I'm not 35 yet, but I was like, yeah, Bobby, I see you. I see you. I sympathize with you, and I loved the nonlinear storyline. As like a devised theater creator myself, that is my like treasure trove, and I completely loved it. It was so delicious. And the specific version that I watched, the way that it was directed with the actors also playing the musical instruments, like they were the orchestra, like brilliant. It was brilliant. And I mean, there were some times when I was feeling very much like maybe this feels like derived, it feels a little bit like ham-fisted, but I think overall I fell in love with it. And I'm so curious about the versions with the gender swapped roles. And
Yeah, I tried to find the
like
slime tutorial. It's gone. They took it off YouTube. I should have saved it, but I
oh
didn't. I
yeah,
know
because
because I was
trying
gonna
to
send. I
find
know
it.
I was gonna send it to you, and then I looked for it, and
I wanted to
it's
see
been wiped.
Patty LaPone as Joanne.
Oh,
with
you still
Bobby.
can, and you still can with Neil Patrick Harris, but like
No. I want to see her with like a female lead, like I
Mhm.
want to see that relationship. But anyway, I think overall it's brilliant, and I'm so happy I didn't watch it when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, because I know I would have left the viewing of it, left a actual in-person viewing of it,
Mhm.
hating it. But now that I am a 28-year-old person, I'm close to his age. I'm like, yes, this is brilliant. So yeah, loved it. Thanks for programming it, Matt.
Oh, my pleasure. I love programming. It's so much fun. Finn, you're the youngest person on this screen, so let's jump to you next. Like, how have your thoughts shifted, if at all, towards Company? Like as you veer into your I can't remember how old you are. As you veer into your mid-ish 20s.
Yeah, I just turned 25 a couple weeks ago, and I still absolutely adore this musical. I think watching this version, having watched as many different versions as I have, I am reminded just how good this version is, and how, like, similarly to what you're saying, Lisa, like the direction is just incredible, spot on with all of it, and it's so simplistic the way that it's performed, like next to nothing in terms of props. Them playing the instruments, I could go on forever on that, because there's so many brilliant metaphorical stuff attached to that. I will say, I think one of the things I recognize, and I don't know if I want to get into this now or if you want to get into this later, but in terms of the Sondheim musicals, most of them, I was surprised at realizing watching it again. I'm like, there's not quite as many clever lyrical moments in Company as there are in some of his other musicals. Certainly, you know, Sondheim's lyrics have a Sondheimness to them, and they are thought out to the nth degree. Mm-hmm. But I find that, you know, some of the more quotable, like clever, like "ooh, that was fun" little lyric moments don't happen quite as often in Company as I remember them happening. And maybe that's just because, you know, I was much younger the first time I watched it, and I was like, this is different than anything I've ever seen before, and it's amazing. That's not to say that I don't absolutely still love this musical with all my heart, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that sort of took me aback this time watching through.
Yeah, there's no, I sort of hate to ask it, but do you have a basket?
Yeah. I mean, Into the Woods is full of them.
so
Sunday in the Park has a ton of them, like particularly with the Baker or that Louis the Baker song has a ton of really clever lyrics. Sweeney Todd, you know, full of pie murder jokes. And then Company, you know, has a couple moments, and I was like, well, they're all sort of shoved into not getting married. You know what I mean?
And what didn't he shove into not getting married?
Oh my God!
Question. So good, so good. Tim, how about you?
How have my feelings about the show changed? Yeah. I mean, when I first watched the show, I was not married, and now I am 9 years married.
Which couple are you most like?
Oh, good question. Oh,
my God.
Hopefully not Harry and Sarah. I have a beer with me in this closet, so that. Hope not David and Jenny. He calls his wife stupid, or dumb. Sorry,
yeah,
as if that's somehow better. Maybe. Wait, I get Peter and Paul mixed up. They both have biblical names. That
Paul's the one
P.
marrying Amy. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, that's the only couple I
maybe Paul and Amy. I don't know. I don't think we align with any of them. I think we're probably an amalgamation of definitely not Joanne and Larry. Yeah, no, we're none of them. We're just none of them.
No, that's a respectable answer.
But when I first watched it, I was, you know, a Bobby type or a wannabe Bobby type. I never had 3 girlfriends on the go at the same time, so that definitely doesn't align with my life. But yeah, that song, the trio that they do, that Andrew's sisters, "You Could Drive a Person Crazy" thing, that's the one number with the clever lyrics. The first time I saw them do it, and they end it with the button of "Bobby is my hobby and I'm giving it up," and I just it fills me with so much joy now, even though it's not a surprise. I hear it now and it's like, that's so good. It's so good. And in the revival where they're all playing the saxophones, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Now again, since I was introduced to Company with this production, when they're not playing saxophones, it feels wrong. And I know that that's every production. That's not this one, but still, when I hear the do, yeah, exactly. It's like, why aren't they playing saxophones?
Yeah, I sat there watching it thinking, how could they have done this any other way without saxophone?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, right. They sing. They sing.
Yeah, but the saxophone makes it so much more sexy, I find. You know? Oh my God, I can't.
No, and even just for them to have something physical, like a tool to almost use in offense to him, when it's like do, and then they're just blowing their air towards him. It's so good.
It offers hilarious moments of pointing as well, especially like April, because she has most of those last moments and she like overblows a little bit, so it's like very pointed. It's very funny. I love it.
What I love about that number is that it's, you know, there's that struggle for these 3 women who are trying to remain composed and ladylike and not let on that this person drives them crazy. And so and singing this cute song in 3-part harmony and do, but and then just, you know, it builds up, the tension builds up, and they let out these horrible insults and their true feelings come out. It's just so good.
Yeah,
I
it's full
agree.
correction.
It's so good. I love all the music in this. Oh, it's my turn because I said I wanted to go last, which I do because it kind of segues. So my relationship with this show has evolved because the more I watch it, the less I feel I understand it, but like in a way that intrigues me, unlike last week's show, which granted I have more respect for the show after our discussion last week, but it hurts my brain. Whereas this hurts my brain in a way where I enjoy the roller coaster of thoughts that it takes me on. And the more productions of Company I've seen, the more I've been struck at how vastly different it is just by merit of how open the text is, which I think is incredible. Like, especially comparing this to the Neil Patrick Harris production, which is so bright and vibrant and almost campy. It's just like watching two totally different shows. And I find that intriguing and fascinating. That's something like, I feel like that's the type of writing that I find the most exciting, where there's a lot of depth to it, but there's a lot of simplicity in how certain things are conveyed, so that you get a different experience anytime you see a different group of actors and a different directorial vision tackling it. So that's definitely the case with the Neil Patrick Harris revival comparative to this one. And then even more so with the gender swapping that they've done to kind of rewrite it recently. So what is everyone's thoughts just on that, on the openness of the material? Yeah, like, is there a specific, I don't even know how to phrase this question. I just want to talk about what I just said. So there we go.
Would it be terribly unpopular of me to say I don't like the Neil Patrick Harris version?
I mean, I would agree with you because I also don't like it.
Okay, great.
My issue with that one, especially when I look at it compared to this one, is that there's just so much specificity, I think, in the directing and the acting choices of all the actors in the Raul Esparza production, and there's comedy that's found within that I feel is lost and falls flat, like especially just in the conversation about like the drinking versus the not eating the brownie or whatever in that first encounter is so hilarious in the Raul John Doyle production, and so many jokes just aren't landing for me in the Neil production. I also feel like Neil doesn't ground it as well as Raul does. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Neil production? Finn, go.
I don't know. I similarly, there's just a lot of moments. It feels like a concert version in the sense that, you know, we got all these actors together, we open in a week, let's learn all the music, and it just sort of felt that way. Anyways, there's not, like you said, not a lot of specificity as much as there was in the Raul Esparza version, and it feels, especially in the revival, that moments are more care is taken into certain moments. Especially, I'm very, very fond of how they had a lot of songs not have a button, where a lot of songs sort of trailed off a little bit into the dialogue that's happening next. They did it with "Marry Me a Little." Or no, sorry, not "Marry Me a Little." The one he sings about, "Someone Is Waiting." That's the song. He does it with "Someone Is Waiting." They do it with Joanne's big song, "Ladies Who Lunch." There's a ton of songs that they just didn't button at the end, and it feels, you'd think it would feel cheesy to feel so melodramatic, to be, hey, let's just keep going, like it's so dramatic, let's put a tension moment on it all. But it works bizarrely. And then now, like you said, this is the first version I ever watched, and I compare it to all the other versions. And so when I see versions where they just button and applause, it feels cheesy. The opposite now.
That's the thing. The Neil one feels so cheesy, and I don't like this musical when it's cheesy.
Yeah,
maybe that's what my thing is. Yeah. But hold on, so many things to talk about, so many comments I want to discuss. But we have someone else joining us. Someone is waiting. Look, it's Alex.
Emotion. Emotion. That's a little what was it called? Inside joke.
That would be
between Finn and I. So that's it.
It was funny. It was funny.
You had to be there.
Hi, everybody.
Sure. I don't regret not being there. Yeah.
New man, new person, Tim.
Hello.
Yeah. There we are.
I heard you were here, and I came to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Is it? Is it nice? All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, I'm like,
you opened really bold with emotion.
That's true.
My curiosity was piqued.
Excellent.
Yep, Alex is good at that, at piquing curiosity. So there we are. So Alex, very quickly, in like 20 words or less, what are your thoughts, opening statement on Company, the musical by Sondheim?
So Company's a musical that I feel as a whole, I've never had a like profound realization for it. So if that makes sense. So
Oh yeah, no, I think that's how I feel about it too. When I keep saying it confuses
and
me.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily attribute that to the show. I feel that a lot of that is just I've never properly sat down. Like I don't think I've ever, well, maybe once. I think only once I've sat down and watched it privately and quote unquote concentrated on it. But if I were like, the context would have been to like study a particular song or something like this, maybe get context, like the context of the show, but for like a scene study that I was doing in college or something like that. So yeah, so I just, it's one of I don't necessarily think it's a show where like revelation or realizations or profound connections are elusive. It's more so, for me anyway, I feel like I just haven't given it like that fair shake, as it were. I haven't properly tried to get into the nitty gritty of the show itself. I've done personal, again, like scene study work on like Being Alive, and I have a little interesting trivia tidbit on that song that some may or may not know. But
What is it?
oh,
You can't just tease us.
Do I give it away?
Yeah, give it away.
Have I
Give it away.
piqued your
Give it away.
interest,
Give it away now.
Mr.
Yeah.
Yipchak?
Yes. Always.
So originally, Sondheim, before Being Alive was put in the show, there was another song rather,
Happily Ever After.
Happily Ever After. And I believe, I don't remember the source for this. I don't remember if it's on the Wikipedia page and what the citation was for it, or where I read it or heard it. But my recollection is that there was something where that song was actually like the basically when the show was being pitched or when it was trying to get produced, there was something where somebody basically told Stephen Sondheim that Happily Ever After was too much of like a bummer song. And so he wanted something that was more hopeful.
So he replaced it with Being Alive?
Well, I mean, and that's an interesting. Well, kind of explain your reaction, Matt. What's so bleak about Being Alive to you, and specifically,
What's bleak is Raul Esparza screaming like his soul is leaving his body and just giving the impression that he wants to die.
Well, so that might be, you're attributing at least part of that interpretation to his particular performance.
Oh yes.
But I would say that the lyrics of Being Alive, compared to if you happen to listen to and kind of look at the lyrics of Happily Ever After, I would say it's not obvious, but it is, in my mind. I understand, and again, I don't know how strong the source is that I'm referring to. So this could be kind of partly an invention in a up to a point. I didn't invent this, but like I heard it or read it somewhere. I just don't recall exactly the source, and then I can try to dig it up. But anyway, I know, because I learned that song, and I also learned Being Alive, and to me it makes sense. To me, when I kind of interpret both songs as wholes, the journey from beginning to end of Being Alive is one that starts in a desperate sort of hopeless, if you will, or hopeless-esque, hopeless adjacent place, and there's a journey where the character gets hopeful and starts singing and starts wishing for the things that up in the entire show we kind of see he pushed away or ignored or didn't pursue. And by the end of the song, you have this character who's desperate for all this stuff, for the things that make being alive worthwhile: love, relationship, connection, and whereas Happily Ever After does have that element to it as well, but it's the way the song Happily Ever After ends. It's basically the character is kind of saying, is basically almost accepting that they're never going to achieve that. There's something in the lyrics and in the melody and the way the song works. There's almost a satireness. It's almost like he's making fun of himself for being in the desperate, shitty situation that situation that he's in. So Whereas being alive, I feel like by the end, the character is all in for it. Like the character doesn't know that he's going to make it or that they're going to make it, but the character is all ready for it. Like I'm ready to be alive is kind of the end of being alive. Whereas the end of Happily Ever After is like, well, that's that'd be nice, I guess, but who the heck knows? You know, kind of that chaotic energy. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, but then also, I feel like being alive, and this is mostly me tapping into the Raul Esparza rendition and my reading of it. I think the lyrics and the song lend themselves to a hopefulness, like you said, but I also think there's a bleak quality. Like when I hear or watch the Raul version, I don't get hope so much as regret in some capacity. And that kind of segues into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the ending, because it's so beautifully vague and open, where, well, kind of the whole show is with the structure of like, is this party real? Is it not? And we could discuss that too, but I want to hear everyone's take on what you think the ending implies or is meant to mean, because it ends one way in this production. And then like I think the script might even say they leave the party and then he's just on the couch happy, or maybe that's just how Neil Patrick's ended. And I took that for what is written in the text, but I do think it can go in a lot of ways. So let's start with Tim. Tim, what's your interpretation of the ending? Where do you think Bobby ends up?
Well, gosh, I don't know if I've ever like consciously understood what the ending is meant to mean. I just get the vibes from it. There's just a feeling that's created. So it's like Bobby is somebody who has only been able to rely on these friends. He's never been able to just have one person as a life partner. So in not showing up to his own party or abandoning his own party or whatever it is, it's the friends are relieved or confused that that he's not there, but there's some sort of I don't know, it's a positive sign that he's not spending his birthday with his friends for some reason, because he's been someone who's so codependent and needy with his friends and vice versa. But yeah, I don't know what it means. I have no idea.
Is he, and this is a genuine question, not a challenging one, but it will sound like a challenging question. Is he actually needy of them? Because I feel like we're mostly shown them depending on him to solve their problems. I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But he solves their problems, but he's happy to do it. And that's his coping mechanism for he's not alone.
Mm-hmm.
1's impossible, 2 is dreary, 3 is company safe and cheery. He doesn't just want to be with one other person stuck with them as he sees it.
Mm-hmm.
He's much happier to be this, cog in a big social group.
Well said. Finn, what do you think about the ending?
I've gone around in circles on the ending a lot, and I think I'm of the mindset that I'm not sure it necessarily, personally to me, I'm not sure I want to know the answer, but I've heard a lot of people. I don't know if you guys have heard about the supposed high school production where they changed the ending so that Bobby actually takes his own life at the end, but.
I mean, I personally read that as the subtext. So like,
which I've never seen that before. Like I've never believed that was the case. I genuinely, even in this production, was always much more attached to the idea that he feels hopeful at the end, perhaps regretful that it's taken him so long to get to this point, but hopeful in the fact that what comes next can be better for him. Because, like you were saying, he spends all his time helping his married friends and trying to be the better third wheel member of this group. But this being alive moment is, life is there to live it, I suppose, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna make it better for me because that's what I need. That's how I feel anyways. I don't know exactly what's happening with the birthday party, and I'm not sure I necessarily want to know, because it's a very tender moment, and that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, I want to talk about the birthday party too. I'll do that next. Lisa, what do you think about the ending?
I think, I mean, for me, if I were to like take this script and direct it myself, I definitely would have a hopeful ending. It's bittersweet because he's by himself still, but I think when I watched this and like knowing Raul is, bi and has been married to a woman in the past, I was like, well, what if he's like discovering who he is in his sexuality and also in his relationship style? Like maybe he's poly. Maybe he's like sexual and aromantic, but he loves community and he loves his friends and he doesn't actually want to continue dating. And like being alive is his process of like figuring that out. And maybe he does want parts of that in a partner or partners or friends, And I like, and I guess like your previous question about how the whole musical feels with this open-endedness. I think it's like such a gold mine for a director to work with the company and like just act like really mine through these meanings for themselves. But I think Bobby's character is so open to interpretation, and that ending is a director's dream because they can take that and really play with that with whoever's in the role of Bobby. But yeah, I think it's really hopeful. I know the song very well outside of the context from the musical because it was in the Marriage Story. Adam Driver sang it
Right.
at the end of that movie, which I have opinions on. But yeah, like it seems to me my interpretation is very hopeful, very optimistic, and it's yeah.
Broadway
Beautiful.
Disney fan is a fan. Should be Broadway Disney and Lisa fan. I need to see Lisa's version of Company. Whole new layer I never thought of with Bobby. So I agree.
Like, I mean, I was like, oh my God, Raul is like such an attractive man. Who is he? And I went on a rabbit hole. And yeah, and I was like, oh my God, like, no, what if he's not gay? What if he's bi? And all of this marriage stuff is freaking him out because he doesn't, the whole complicatedness of bisexuality and internalized biphobia. I was like, oh my God, this is such a great place to like explore that with Bobby, whether it's a man or a woman. Yeah, but I love Being Alive. I think it's such a beautiful song.
Oh, I love it. So it's a dream. It's a baritone dream. Is it a baritone song? I just assumed.
Depends on the key.
There you go.
On the key.
Brilliant. Right. So there's hope. There's hope. And I mean, unrelated to that, but I'll just drop the nugget of info while it's in my brain. Just thinking about Bobby compared to Kathy. Is Kathy the one who gets married? Is Kathy the girlfriend who?
She's going back to Cape Cod.
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Just seeing kind of two different paths, I think, is really interesting because I feel like, at least in this production, I get the vibe she's getting married to complete almost a cycle or do something that feels right because she says, I'll be a good wife. And it's like, that's whoever the husband is, she'll be a good wife. And that's what she's decided she wants with her life. And then on the flip side of that is like, Bobby is so picky that he doesn't just want to be a good spouse. He just wants, he wants to amalgamate all of his female friends into his perfect partner, as it were. And the alternative for him, if he can't find that, is just to be alone, which I think is interesting.
But that whole dialogue that they have together, and she says something along the lines of like, I'm done like living life, and like marriage is like the end of life, and that's her next step. I don't know, maybe it was the way that Raul reacted to that, but it was just like they were not on the same page. And to say that his choice of not getting married yet, or maybe not getting married ever, was like not the right choice. It just illuminated so much of what the thematic arch of the whole show was and it was just such a simple scene.
While we're on that scene, I genuinely, that is my favorite scene in the show.
Talk about it, Finn.
100% my favorite scene in the show. It breaks my heart every time I watch it because
why?
it's a combination of they are not on the same page, but they were so close. They were so close.
Sorry, it's the Send in the Clowns
Yeah.
moment
Ah.
of Company.
100%. It's just I'm trying to remember those lines. It's I can't keep running around the city pretending I have a life.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, like it's just that moment where they're like, oh, we could have gotten married. I'm leaving. It's like, oh, every time I watch it, my heart just shatters. And it's almost like Bobby almost had this moment of connection that all of his friends are having,
Mhm.
but they're just not on the same page. Like you're saying, he was his line. The problem is you want too little, and that's the hardest thing in the world to get. I don't know. It's of the three girlfriends, like, April's hilarious and Marta's hilarious in a different way. And then Kathy's just, I don't know, it's so heartfelt. And no other production of Company that I've seen has hit
Had
me
a
with
good
that scene
Kathy.
as much as this one did.
Wow.
Yeah. Well said. And then there's also that line about how there's a time to come to New York and a time to leave,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
which I adore, and I couldn't even articulate why. Just something about that seems
Her in that
poignant.
park, they don't fit.
Exactly.
It's so juxtaposed when Joanne is like, I've never left New York.
Yep.
So actually, that was the thing I wanted to discuss. Do you think this musical could take place in a different city? Like, New York is obviously mentioned multiple times, but I think that line intrigues me because, like, what does that necessarily mean? Like, what is it saying about New York and what it means to come to it, what it means to leave it? What are the implications? I think it ties into Another 100 People, which is another song that I like, but even now I can't tell you what I think it means or why it's there, but I'm not mad that it's there. But yeah, Alex, what do you think about New York City and Company?
Well, wait, New York City.
Yeah, do you think this musical could take place anywhere else? How do you think New York factors into the show as a whole?
Well, I don't think I have a particularly informed perspective on that, which is to say that it's been a while since I've seen it, and as I've already admitted, I never felt like I've had profound realizations regarding the musical. So I definitely haven't analyzed the setting and connected it to the themes of the narrative or any other aspect of the show and tried to kind of understand it in that way. But I have a love-hate relationship with New York City. So that's my thing.
As do some of the characters.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, from what I can vaguely recollect of the musical, I would say New York probably, like, I would say overall probably New York isn't particularly important. I would say you could probably, I think New York is important in the sense that, and again, I don't recall any like specific references, and I would say you could, if there are specific references to New York City, you could just change that to some other metropolis, like some other big city. I would say changing it from a big city type setting may be more of the thing that's like that's tied to the themes and the narratives. There's, I'd say, on one level there is this stereotype / phenomenon of cities being so sort of populated and crowded, but also easy to feel lonely in. And maybe there's something there with this musical and these characters and Bob in particular, being sort of successful and young and in the city, but dealing with the problems that he is dealing with. So things on that level, I would say, probably are important, and changing this to like some, like whatever rural, like farm town, small town type thing, probably wouldn't ring as true. And
So, like,
and
it can't happen in Godrich.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I mean, that's interesting, and I'm sure you can come up with something creatively interesting, playing around with the setting for Company and trying to adjust it to ring true in the setting, or conversely, having it not ring true and maybe amping up the absurdity of it. But yeah, that's a take.
That is a take. Does anyone have a counter take or thoughts on New York?
I mean, having having Bobby live in one of the most densely populated urban centers on the continent, it helps to build up the stakes are as high as they could possibly be, because he says, you know, in New York you meet a girl every minute or something to that effect. I mean, it's like, it's not like if he was in some sort of rural situation or in Goderich, you know, it's like, well, these are the 5 single women that you can you will
And he's
marry one
dating
of
3
them.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, it's like he's not friends with any of his friends by accident. You know, these are he thinks of his friends as being sort of kindred spirits, and you know, it gives him all the more reason to be so picky and to sing about this dream girl who's an amalgamation of all of the women in his life, because, you know, it's New York. There's a million eligible women out there, so surely that person exists, he's convinced himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you, Tim. I also think there's this like type of attitude about New York that the characters all have, that I mean, I feel like you could find someone in London, England who feels the same way as a character in this show about that does feel about New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the way that the show is written, the lyrics are written, is specifically with that 100 cars, 100 people song. They like, it's the subway, it's the buses, it's the airport. Like, you have to think of a city with an airport in the city and not a 30-minute drive away. Like, it seems very New York, just culturally. And yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be interesting if somebody were to try it and change it to Toronto, maybe as like a Canadian version. But I don't know. It's the way that New York just is in people's minds because of how we've been socialized about New York through media. I feel like it's very entrenched in that. And I think Sondheim gets that in the lyrics and even in the composition of the songs.
Like, I wonder if maybe there's something in the text to go against this. I almost wonder if all the couples live in the suburbs and just Bobby lives in New York. And he goes to visit them. If I made this a movie, that's what I would do.
Whoa.
I
They
think there
moved
is
out
the one couple that
the
can like
suburbs.
look over the balcony and see particular parts of New York, but
They're allowed to
otherwise-
stay. They can stay in New York.
They can say they're the one couple.
Wait, oh, is that Joanne? Is that Joanne? Because that works. She doesn't leave
No,
New
it's
York.
not
Mm-mm.
Joanne. It's the
Oh.
Yeah,
first
it's
couple he goes to visit.
Peter and Susan.
Yeah.
He's convinced you can
Are
see
those
the
the
East
druggies?
River.
I say the druggies. Are those the ones who are like?
No,
Stoners?
they're the recent divorcees.
Oh yes, them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
They're
You're the
be-
first to know. Oh, it's great.
They're a better
Yeah.
couple when they're divorced than they are when they're married.
Yeah.
I adore that.
And that's the thing. So Susan is from the South, obviously, and Marta is supposed to be someone who's recently moved to New York and is all excited about living in the center of the universe. And Kathy's from Cape Cod, and April's also from somewhere else, but moved to New York out of confusion.
Which is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Relatable.
And I'm just sorry, I'm staring at Christina Hendricks's legs here in the thing, and seeing her, and she's what we now call a flight attendant, and she's flying to Barcelona after having a one-night stand with Bobby. So I don't even know what the significance of that is, but it's like
It's Barcelona.
It's probably that it's a 3-syllable location that works lyrically.
It sounds very nice.
A 4-syllable. Oh, don't come for me, comments.
Barcelona. Oh yeah, you're right. No, you can make it Barcelona. You can do it. You can make 3.
Yeah, if you mispronounce
Barcelona.
it, it's
right. if you sang it wrong, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Where are you going, Barcelona? I always think of a cat meme from Sondheim Cats. It was a Tumblr a while ago. There was like a really cute cat, that was paired with that lyric. That's what I always think of when I
Yeah.
hear that song, Barcelona. Yeah. So something interesting I remember reading when it was an interview with the director and the woman who kind of rewrote the show when they were reworking it for female Bobby, and that's something that I definitely want to talk about. But before that, she made some kind of observation, if I'm remembering correctly, where she told Steven that the characters are well written, but it's the relationships are very much what dynamics were in the 70s, and things have changed since then. What are our general thoughts on that? Do we agree? Do we disagree?
I don't disagree. I agree.
I think
Yeah.
there's definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Finn.
I was just going to say there's definitely. I don't think they gender swapped every role with the recent revival. I think there's a few that they've swapped, and my favorite being not getting married is a gay couple that's getting married, which I think is wonderful. I think it's hilarious through that lens. But there are definitely some where it's like very clearly the 70s stereotypes of couples through that lens, and I think it was in need of an update in bits and pieces of it. And from the one time that I watched the slime tutorial when it was up,
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
It's great. I really liked the update. Most of the update. Anyways.
Yeah, like I think one of the things that she was fighting for that Sondheim was asking for clarification on was that she wanted to gender swap one of the couples specifically, and I can't remember which couple it was. My instincts say it was the couple that are doing the drugs, and then he calls his wife dumb or something. I think maybe that's the one that she wanted to swap, and then she said it's because we need to have a couple where the wife is the one who's employed or something, and then because this is just a very traditional 1970s gender thing where it's just like the assumption is the woman is the one who stays home, the man is the one who goes and makes the money. And then she also went on to say it also doesn't make sense that a female Bobby doesn't have any gay friends in New York City, and then that's how Jamie came to be, as it were, which has been touched on is probably like one of the greatest things that came out of like that whole gender swapping, among a lot of really great things. But generally, what are people's thoughts on the concept or the notion of swapping around the genders to work around a female Bobby? How do we feel about that character through a female perspective, whether we've seen it or not, just in theory? Has anyone seen it? I guess that's the first question.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Like, so are all the three single women?
They're all
like
men.
They become men in the gender swap version? Okay. I don't know. I think like in terms of having a female Bobby, you have the dynamic of what it means to think about marriage as a woman, and all of that. Like that dynamic is just inherently different societally than a man's. And yeah, I think it's more interesting because I'm a woman and I want to like relate to the piece, but I think it's complicated because you're not just thinking about marriage, you're also thinking about children, and you're thinking about what that means in your womanhood and all that. So I love the idea. I just think it's very complicated. And I think a lot of the nuance can be lost depending on who's directing it.
Nicely said. Finn, what did you think? I feel like you're the only person who successfully watched all of the slime tutorial.
Just managed to see it before it disappeared.
Did you save it?
I didn't. I'm not as forward thinking as some people. No, I genuinely really liked it. I didn't love You Could Drive a Person Crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the guy version.
Really care for it. Yeah, because they sort of turned it like smooth jazz-esque, and it didn't really work in my opinion. But I did enjoy it because I believe Sondheim was involved with some of the lyrical changes, especially with songs like Someone Is Waiting, where they changed all of the female names that Bobby sings about to all the male names and sort of made that work, and the descriptors that Bobby uses about each of them. I genuinely really enjoyed it. It was quite a while ago, and I haven't seen it since because it's gone from view, but I do remember really enjoying it, particularly when she's singing Marry Me a Little and they have rain coming down on stage. Worked
Nice.
really, really nicely with that moment. I enjoyed it all around. Although I will say, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think I like Joanne in the Raul Esparza version better than Patti LuPone.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I know.
agree. I'm not a fan of Patty in this role from what I've seen, at least in the Neil Patrick Harris.
I think she
version
does
and-
fine. I was more taken by this one. I think she's more stern to the point of almost being scary, whereas Patti LuPone is stern and it's funny. You know what I mean?
Does Patty play, like, is it still written where Joanne is like hitting on Bobby?
She suggests that Bobby go home with her husband.
Oh.
Oh,
She should go home with her.
I don't like that.
No, I don't love that either. But
that
I think that
totally
would be
changes their
amazing.
relationship.
And
Yeah.
how does the scene with Peter propositioning Bobby work?
I believe that's also gender swapped there.
Okay.
Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is that also the couple where they're talking about somebody leaned out and hit their head and the other one fainted? Yeah, that's gender swapped for sure.
Okay.
And I believe it is the woman that comes on to Bobby in that moment.
I think if you're going to make Jamie sing, like make it a gay couple getting married, I think you have to keep Joanne hitting on Bobby.
Right.
And like Bobby's just like, oh my God, I would never consider that. Or maybe
It's also just, it's so, I think, beautifully different to have Joanne hitting on a female Bobby for someone who's been married to men 3 times and then being at that stage in her life. And then like, I'm at a point where I don't care anymore. Just here it is. Like, I think that's kind of how you get with age about all things. You just stop caring about what people think, about what you think about yourself. And like, you just embrace what you want. And then it would be so much better than I want you to hook up with my husband.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
It was a solution, I suppose, to the script, and maybe they weren't thinking too far ahead with it. It was a choice.
It was a choice. It was a choice. What do we have? Broadway Disney fan says, I went to the Broadway revival with 2 female friends who had not seen Company before. After the show, we talked about how it was gender swapped. They couldn't imagine Bobby played by a guy. See, your first Company, that's the one that's going to set you up for all subsequent companies. And everything that comes after that one will just feel wrong. I said what I said, even though I am behind female Bobby, and I do want to see it. What did Elizabeth say? What I do like about Ladies Who Lunch scene and song here is how much of a conversation it is between Joanne and Bobby as opposed to Joanne stepping away to sing her big number.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, let's talk about Ladies Who Lunch. Oh yeah, what were you going to say, Finn?
No, I was just going to say, I think that's more Patti LuPone style as conversationalist, if I'm not mistaken, than it is with this version that we all watched.
Yeah, I forgot how yelly she was in this version. But I actually, a lot of these songs are very yelly, but I like it. That's okay. Like yell me my Sondheim. That's how it should be. It's how Steve intended it. So yeah, what's with Ladies Who Lunch? Because that's a song that's never intrigued me and still doesn't, but it's a big deal. And I want to know why. Yes. Tim, let's start with you.
Oh my gosh.
What's your take? Tell me about the song.
Well, I mean, it's sort of, it's like a little one-act play. The way that she takes you through this journey of mercilessly lampooning these women that she knows, but then of course we realize in that final verse, or the final few verses, how, I don't know what you'd call them, verses, courses, but we realize, and she realizes, that she's been singing about herself the entire time. And she uses, her criticisms and her humor as a way to deflect, not to dealing with her own problems. And and alcohol, obviously.
Yes. Is anyone caught up on Chicago? Because they have a character who just keeps coming in drunkenly and screaming, "I'll drink to that," and that's all she does, and it's hilarious. That's all I'll say.
I love that.
Yes, Tim, what were you saying? Sorry.
But just the fact that she sings the first few verses and they're very comedic, and and then when she sings the third verse, the section that gets honest, it's almost like in her one song, she sort of got like what Bobby has between his 3 songs, because Bobby's a rare character. He sings these 3 solos: Someone Is Waiting, Marry Me a Little, and Being Alive, and they're all I Want songs. Usually you get one good I Want song in the first act, and he gets 3, and he gets progressively more truthful. And Joanne gets that just in one song, which is very cool.
Tim is so smart.
Oh,
I'm so glad we have Tim. Tim, come back for all the shows.
okay.
Okay. Yes, Assassins is next week. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to watch it.
It's so good. I love Assassins. Yeah. Oh, Lisa, what do you think about this song and hats?
I love it. I need to see Patti LuPone's version, because all I have obviously in my head is Barbara Walsh, and I think she did amazing. I love that she was so yelly. The belting was brilliant. Come on. But yeah, everything that Tim said, it's like all the women that she's describing is her. But I also, it's like how lonely Joanne is. She's so lonely. She's had 3 husbands. She has all these friends. She has all these opinions. But she's so lonely. And it is very parallel to Bobby. And I think it's a great number. I can't wait to be like 40, 50 years old and auditioning with this song. So
Why not do it now?
yeah, do like a 20-something-year-old Joanne.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can do it. Yeah.
And I can also do this. Yes, Broadway Disney fan. I can make that happen. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, where's my thing? Where's my advertisement? Wait, please hold. There we go. Visit the Teacup for One t-shirt T-shop on Etsy at this link.
Oh my God.
I
Use
love
code
it.
Teacup Movie Club to save 20% on your order. There we go. Delightful. There we are. Yeah. I had a question I was going to ask to follow that up, and now I can't remember what it is. Who's everyone's favorite couple?
What a question.
Like just to watch, not like the most functional or the
I need a
healthiest.
review.
Alex, you
There's a
had your hand
stoner.
up.
Oh, I like the couple, like the husband and wife or whatever, who are funny. When
The wrestling couple?
I don't remember so Bobby's in like their apartment, and he has moments with each of them kind of independent of each other, I think. But I think there's like the husband is sneaking drinks or something.
Yeah, that's the wrestling couple.
The wrestling couple. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Good. I agree. Actually, no, I really like Paul and Amy.
Who's Paul and Amy?
Not getting married. Because Paul is just so supportive.
I don't
Paul
know.
is No, you don't think so?
No, I think he's written to be supportive. Whoever was playing Paul in this version, I was like, you're so lackluster. Like, do you want to get married? That's what I kept asking. I kept screaming at my TV.
He does definitely get to a point where it feels supportive to a fault, like he's putting on a face a little bit.
Yeah.
I just love how lovably bland he is, which I think is just so necessary.
He starts that way. He definitely starts very supportive, but then it definitely gets to a point where it feels like he's like, I would presume Amy has moments like this on the regular, and it feels like he's annoyed by it now at this point, which is less than ideal if you're going to go marry this person momentarily. But
it's fair. I mean, I love Amy. I think Amy might be my favorite character. Specifically this Amy.
Just because she patters so quickly.
She patters so quick. No, and also just her performance is so good in that scene that comes after not getting married today. Like, I'm so dead inside. It's hard for me to feel things when I watch things on, like, when I watch film stage productions, but she gets me in this one every time with, like, just everything, the apprehension and the love. Oh, I adore her. I adore this Amy. And I think just Amy on paper. I like the character. Yeah. I just want what's best for her. Or Jamie, if it's a Jamie. So there we go. So we all know we had the recent revival with all the gender swapping. There was almost a revival. There was a workshop version where Bobby was just going to full out be a gay character, and Alan Cumming was Joanne, and Bobby was played by Daniel Evans, who was George in the second Sunday in the Park with George revival. And I thought that production actually happened. Then I Googled it, and it turns out it was being workshopped for like a potential production, and then nothing came out of it. So clearly they decided not to do it for one reason or another. But how do we feel it would work in those circumstances where Bobby is just an out gay character, Joanne is a male character, and then presumably some of the other roles are gender swapped as need be to fit that narrative?
Nobody knows. There's a reason why that production didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like not knowing Bobby's sexuality.
Mhm.
I don't want to know. I don't want to assume that they're straight, woman or guy. Like I wouldn't go into watching the most recent production and be like, "Oh yeah, she's a straight woman." But I don't want to know. Yeah.
I guess it is interesting to consider the fact that, like, of all the shows we may have guessed would become so gender fluid one day, I don't know if Company would have been my first guess, because it's so set in its time that it came out. Like we were saying earlier, like the couples and the characteristics and the jokes and everything that come out of it are very, was it 70s this show came out? It is, it has that feel to it. And to now say, yeah, we can put on productions with anyone playing these roles is kind of amazing, actually, when you think about it, because Company would not have been the first show I would have guessed that would happen to.
Yeah. Although I would say, in contrast to that point, I would say that, like, I don't disagree with you at all, Finn, in the sense that I think original Company has like a particular and precise vibe and setting and aesthetic and all this kind of these elements that portray this, let's say, stereotypical sort of 70s thing. And I think it is, I think it's probably not particularly, like, it's not written to be particularly ambiguous in terms of the sexuality of characters and such. However, I would say that the content of Company, or what Company explores, the themes, those, in my mind, are more like universal slash the Company's exploring sort of the internal experience of certain characters and the dynamics between different characters. And I guess that's a very general thing to say, and you can say that about anything. But my point is that I feel like Company, the content of Company, the themes of Company, you can tell that's, I want to say that you can swap the genders, you can swap sexualities and tell the same stories. I don't know if that's true. And I don't know, like, in my mind, nothing comes up immediately to say, okay, Bobby's a gay man, go. Nothing comes up to my mind to say, well, that wouldn't work, that wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. Like, and I don't know anything about the latest revival and Bobby being female. I don't know. I don't know what needs to change in terms of other genders and things like that to tell the same story that was told with OG Bobby. Like, sure,
Yeah.
there are moments where like where the gay character hits on Bobby, and yes, if Bobby is a woman, then have that character be a woman, and vice versa. But again, I don't know.
No, the theme, it definitely works that way. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I don't think there's a scenario where the show doesn't work. I think it's just a case of it works differently in ways that are like what piques my interest the most is the concept of male Joanne, specifically Alan Cumming, as male Joanne, and just thinking, how does that character change when it's a guy? Like, how does it change when it's an older middle-aged man singing Ladies Who Lunch versus her, versus, like, assuming that they didn't change the lyrics at all, is the exact same song lyrically, but then it's Alan Cumming instead of Patti LuPone. I feel like it adds a different layer of almost, I don't know, there's a judgmental quality I think that comes from it, even though it's already kind of a judgmental song. But that self-discovery, I think, that we were talking about, of I'm singing about me, I think it would be lessened to some degree, or maybe not. Maybe not.
I think you said it, like, it adds another layer of meaning. It could be it it could be that he also like identifies with the women who lynch, and like he sees himself with these other people that he doesn't particularly like. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, that's like the beauty of taking a piece of staged performance and reviving it and like playing around with it. I don't think Company is the only show that is for this exploration. Um it is, I think I think it necessitates it because it's all about relationships and how we relate to people. And so in romantic relationships, it is nice to see other people with different sexualities than what was just written for the 70s version, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would just be very different. Yeah.
Nicely said. Well, yeah, I think the beauty of the show is how different it can be. So I guess, well, no, I don't want to ask that question yet. So kind of with that planted, what role would everybody like to play in this show, male or female? And let's say, well, I was going to say you can't say Bobby, but you could say Bobby, but then you have to say somebody else. Because I think everyone wants to be Bobby or is intrigued potentially by the notion of playing Bobby because there's so much to dig into there. But for the supporting characters, who does everyone want? Who does everyone gravitate towards, whether it be for their arc, their relationship, or even if it's just a song that they like? For me, it's Jamie because I just want to do Not Getting Married Today. Obviously, I almost made a TikTok of myself doing it, but then I ran out of time. I might still. We'll see.
You should do it.
I should. But yeah, Tim, let's start with you. Since you are playing Bobby, if you could be anyone who's not Bobby, who would your pick be?
Oh, gosh, Harry would be a lot of fun. I think the tension between that couple is just so off the charts. And he gets to sing the bulk of Sorry Grateful. So yeah.
Yeah, Harry the alcohol fan. Yes, the wrestler. Yes, delightful. Lisa, who do you want to be?
Bobby. Bobby. The reason why I think we all would say Bobby is because they're the main character. And are we not all the main characters of our lives?
We are.
Amen.
Sadly, no.
Sadly. Aside from Bobby, I don't know. I feel like I would naturally gravitate towards Amy. Just like her anxieties, I feel very similar to, and I would love that challenge of that song. But I also really love the flight attendant and Marta. Those two, like, there's like, it's what you said, Finn, like they're both hilarious in different ways. And I think like it would like just flex a comedic muscle, like different comedic muscles. One of those two would be fun. I didn't gravitate towards any of the husbands.
Yeah, they're just kind of there.
Yeah, I think like the songs that they had were they were great, but yeah, I think like the women really stood out in this production, and like strong actors, like you can see these people have been working on their skills for a long time. So yeah, flight attendant or Marta.
Good choice. Finn?
Well, I mean, I grew up loving this musical. I grew up saying it was my favorite, and for a long time I was like, I will play Bobby one day, and maybe that'll still happen one day. But
Yeah.
I would also love to play Marta.
Marta's so cool.
She's so cool, and on top of that, Another 100 People is I love that song, and I think having that opportunity, not only just to sing that song, but her scene that follows it, where she's talking about how much she loves New York and how much it's like an open ass, I think is so great. So that would be another go-to.
Yeah,
role.
she's never met anyone like herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Marta. I
Yeah,
love
we
that.
love Marta. Alex, who do you want? Who would you play?
I would probably play the what are they called? The Bless this day
Oh, the
The choir,
choir
girl.
lady. Choir girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Southern wife, right?
So that's the strange thing is that part can be sung by either Jenny or Susan. In some productions it's Jenny, and in some it's Susan. It's, I guess, whoever is the strongest soprano.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think I may opt to be Jamie's husband.
Oh, Paul.
Yeah. And like do the double.
Wow.
Oh,
Kind of
do
Two-Face
both parts.
style. Yeah, or run off, throw the dress and wig on, or whatever, right? Like do something like that. Run off, come on, and then today is for Amy, and do that.
I would watch that. I would watch. I would watch
Of those
the hell
critics
out of
going, it was confusing, but good for him.
Well, yeah, like I guess something like in the in the Little Shop in Stratford's like Little Shop production.
Yeah.
Dan Chamroy was kind of he had I forget the scene, but he had like the scene where he kept coming in playing different like women. So
yeah. Meek shall inherit. I think that was it.
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. I would love to watch that. That kind of segues into the next question I wanted to ask. What would your directorial vision be if you directed this show? Kind of a broad question. To streamline it a little bit, kind of the foundation for me is what do you make of this birthday party framing device? Like if you were to put this into a production and you're making all the choices, what is the birthday? It's so abstract and it's so wonderfully strange and open. I mean, what I personally would have no idea. I would be lost. But when I was reading the Wikipedia page, because that's how I get all of my information now, there's something that stood out to me interestingly at the very end. It's the word, I think it uses the word reset. It says after being alive, the party resets for a last time. And I never thought of it as a reset. And to me, that's intriguing. It's almost like playing out different scenarios. And I would kind of want to play with that because I question how much of this actually happens, what's literal, what's not, what's a flashback, what's contemplative, like what has actually happened versus what is in Bobby's mind that could happen if he goes out and celebrates his birthday. So I think I'd want to explore that on my end about just how Bobby is constantly going through the Rolodex of his experiences with these people and deciding if he wants to celebrate with them or not. Alex, your hand was up.
You inspired me. Probably
Good.
not an original idea.
No.
Probably been done to death.
Yeah.
But what if company is just bear with me, all right?
Was set in the
Don't
country.
laugh
Sorry,
yet. The punchline's coming. All right. What if company is? Wait a minute. Did you wait a minute, Finn? Did you just spoil it? Did you just say what I was going to say?
No, don't quite.
What if company
Okay.
is Bobby just recollecting his life and his past experiences, and we're not actually seeing Bobby living his life. We're seeing Bobby remembering his life and going over his life, and then maybe he's dead, maybe he's on a hospital bed and he's just died and the endorphins have rushed and it's the last death memory of the brain, and The end.
Yeah, I feel like you're joking, but I think that's legit.
There's something there. Yeah.
Well, that, but it has it. But I feel like it's also kind of obvious. I feel like maybe somebody should have done that take, because I feel like it's all there for you.
Call up that high school that supposedly killed them off at the end. See if that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
I read into that with the John Doyle with this production with Raoul. Like you see, they have that shot of his feet, like he's working his way onto a ledge or something.
They don't shoot both his feet; they just cheat.
Yeah, I know, but that was a bad like production.
No, that's proof.
No, you're right. That is proof.
Yeah.
That is proof.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm eager to see your production. Alex, Finn, how about you?
I'm very fond of. It's funny. I haven't really thought this out before, but maybe the multiple birthday sequences are similarly, like you said, Alex, all the scenes of him meeting with his friends are perhaps him just remembering things that have happened. And each birthday sequence is him dreading the birthday that's coming up and perhaps imagining the ways that it could go. I don't know. With the final birthday sequence being what actually happens, perhaps, in that it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And in terms of just directorial choices, I love that they're all playing instruments because it works really well for some reason. Particularly the side by side at the top of Act 2 when they have each of their moment to play with the opposite couple. I think that's a great because I think usually in most productions they just do a little dance together. But in this production, when each of them can sort of do a little riff to one another, and then Bobby is left playing kazoo at the end with no one, I think is great because then when he plays piano at the end by himself, it's sort of an instrument all to his own.
Well done. You just inspired my changed production. I'll get there last. Tim, how would you direct this show?
Gosh. Well, yeah, I kind of think that the birthday party is like a theoretical like metaverse. Like the couples don't all seem to know each other. And the way that they're meeting is so bizarre, especially the way that they begin with everyone chanting, doing the Greek chorus thing. You don't look it. And it's like, and then they sort of gradually come out of that, and it starts to feel more lifelike. But yeah, I don't think the party is a real thing. One thing that I read in an interview, I think it was with Lonnie Price, who directed the Neil Patrick Harris version, which we already talked about.
And he also directed the filming of this production.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's right. So I think his take on just the general non-linear structure and the memories in each of these scenes is the lyric that Bobby sings, all those photos up on the wall with love filling the days, all that. So it's like these little scenes are the photos of the up on the wall of these pivotal moments. Each scene is with Bobby and the girlfriends, but especially with the husbands and wives. They're all sort of cautionary tales. He looks at Harry and Sarah and it's like, well, that's one reason not to get married. He looks at David and Jenny and thinks that's another. Amy's terrified to get married to Paul, even though he's supportive and kind and gentle, and and this one couple that he gives a toast to, Susan and Peter, and says, "You're the perfect couple, and if you ever decide to leave her, I want to be the first to know." And it's like, oh, they're getting divorced. Even the best couple I know is getting divorced. So it's just, this is why the stakes are so high for him, because every example he's seen of marriage was, it was the end of their lives. So I don't think Bobby is actually dying at the end, but it's just the end of that. It's the end of that chapter in his life. He's stepping into the unknown finally.
Like Elsa.
Into the unknown.
Yes.
Just like Elsa.
What a comparison.
I know. Elsa is Bobby.
He's going to harness new powers. He's going to
become the fifth element.
Ride an ice horse into the ocean.
summoning the confusing ghost of his dead mom. There it is. There. Lisa, do we hear your production?
Yeah, I said I would really play with the queerness of
Yes.
Bobby, but also very not child friendly, like cults, swingers, like these couples.
Eyes wide shut.
Yes, like very weird in terms of like Bobby actually doesn't know what's going on behind closed doors, and they're all just banging each other.
Well, actually, this production got rid of the sex montage song, which
There's a sex montage song?
I think there is. There is in the Neil Patrick Harris one.
That's right. Yeah, there's a number called
yeah.
TikTok,
Yes.
which is it's musical, but there's no singing. There's
It's just movement.
April and Bobby are hooking up, and there's pre-recorded internal monologues of what they're both thinking while the performer that plays Kathy does an interpretive dance. It's
That's
very
right.
1970. Yeah.
I love that. I would bring that back.
I think I blocked that out of my memory.
No,
if I'm
and
honest.
in the slime tutorial of the revival that we can't find anymore, rest in peace to her. I think that sequence is her. It's all the female actors dressed as Bobby going through the motions of like domestic life. So while she's hooking up with her flight attendant friend, she's also just having these flashes of this is what my life will be like if this moves beyond this night. And then it's just like all different, like it's like Night of 1,000 Bobbies just coming on in. And
Woof.
there it is.
That's
So
wild.
we were talking about Happily Ever After as one of the original songs. There was also another song that they tried that didn't work during out of town tryouts called Multitudes of Amy's. And that was
What?
that was
Right.
that
I
was
love
another
that.
that was another precursor to Being Alive that was cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
This
I
is
think
wild.
there's a recording of one of those like bootleg demo recordings of Sondheim singing it out there somewhere. I think that's the only recording I've ever heard.
I feel like all of these tidbits will inspire my version.
Yeah.
Company. I will say, like, I would want Bobby to be a woman, and I wouldn't care about the couples per se. Like, they could all be straight. We could have Jamie and
We
his
could-
husband, whatever. But the 3 single characters, I would want like April to be a man, Marta to be a non-binary person, and the flight
Nice.
attendant to be a woman. And I would love to see that transpire.
I want to see the Lisa production.
Let's
make
do it.
happen.
Olive Garbage. Let's go. Let's
Yes.
go.
I mean, reflecting on this, now my ideal production, the Mac directed production, I think one of the things that I find intriguing is just the notion of all friends from Bobby's different aspects of their life coming together for the first time. Because I personally get really anxious when I mix friends from different elements of my life. So I'm now envisioning the Matt directed production where in every encounter, like this production has a lot of money and everyone's getting paid fairly. In every encounter, Bobby's just a different performer. So it's a different Bobby for every couple that he encounters and that he interacts with, or she. Actually, no, I would probably keep the same gender for continuity. Well, so whether he or she, it's just a different person. It's a different Bobby, as it were. And in the opening sequence, Bobby's the only character you don't see when they're all wishing a happy birthday. And it's just like a voiceover. And then maybe the Bobbies cycle through. I don't know. It's a work in progress, but that's my thing.
I love that.
Different Bobbies.
Multitude of Bobbies.
Multitude of Bobbies.
Bobby is kind of he plays a different role as the third wheel to all of these, and he plays a different role with the girlfriends too. He's just sort of a chameleon, I guess, and we get a better sense of that. I mean, you have to you have to listen to it a lot of times or be following along the lyrics when in the opening number, when we get a sense of how, so to David and Jenny, he's like a babysitter, and But to Larry and Joanne, he's like a chaperone, or he's like a stand-in for Larry. You know, listen, pal, you know how I hate the opera. It's like, oh, so he goes out with Joanne to the opera, and he takes their kids to the zoo. And anyway, you get a better idea about who Bobby's supposed to be hearing all the other characters sing and talk about him than you actually do through the dialogue. Because the
Yes.
dialogue is a lot of him just listening and reacting to what's happening.
He's taking them to the zoo on Friday.
That's right.
Actually, Tim, you're the one who opened my eyes to that lyric. I can't remember what we were discussing, but in some capacity, it came around to you saying, no, Bobby is supposed to be to this couple kind of like a lovable uncle because he's taking the kids to the zoo. And I just knew there was a lyric about the zoo. I never computed, but yeah, there's so much, but you miss it because it moves so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just feel like as long as the director and the actors know what's happening, I as an audience member don't need to understand everything, and I don't want to, because then it gets boring. Unless it's Sunday in the Park with George, and then I get angry. So
Stop it, Matt. You're killing me.
slowly but surely, I warm up to it.
I like Bob Hunt's version.
Oh, I do like this one too. A nursing home, 85th birthday.
Nice.
Just yeah, imagine Bobby is really old and still alone. Oh,
What if he's having like a he's slipping into dementia
yes.
episode where he's like reliving all of it. Oh,
Endless possibilities, endless Bob abilities.
Yeah.
I adore it. Okay. Is there anything people want to discuss before we do the game? Anything we haven't touched on? Oh yeah, Tim and Finn, there's a game. You're new.
Yeah.
I have actually, I think it was when you did the Sweeney Todd, I was watching. So
you knew.
While half-heartedly trying to put my daughter to bed. Whoops.
How it should be.
I will just say, in those opening lyrics, when it's talking about all the things that Bobby does for all his friends, my favorite is, maybe it's just because the way that the camera shot happens in this version, but Bobby says something along the lines of, Amy, can I call you back tomorrow? And it cuts to Amy and she's like, like almost offended, or like just that she got cut off. That always made me laugh. I don't know if that was intentional in the way they shot the
oh yeah, it was everything Lonnie does is intentional. We love Lonnie. We love the Muppet guy. It's great. This Elizabeth Morris Rose says the line the kids are asking suggests Bobby really has a relationship with their kids and they know him and like him, and he's probably Uncle Bobby.
Aww.
I love that.
I do too.
He's
not. Yeah.
No, he has like 10 friends aside from the three girlfriends.
Mhm.
That's a lot of friends.
It is.
That's me. Thinks he has a lot of friends.
Although I mean, it's probably more so 5 friends, and then he just by proxy had to be civil or get to pretend to like the other half of the couple. Yeah. It's like we all know how that goes.
Yeah, that seems more manageable because I'm like looking at the list and I'm like, I don't think I have 10 close friends. But I do.
That's an interesting exercise, I guess, for anyone who is in the show to be like, who was Bobby friends with first in each of these couples?
Like my instinct is to think with Amy and Paul that he was friends with Amy first, but isn't he? I think he's Paul's best man, or I could be wrong. But
yeah, he refers to himself as the best man.
So. Yeah, even though it seems like he's closer with Amy. But anyway, that's something I'd want to explore.
Interesting exercise.
Indeed.
And he proposes to her moments after Paul leaves the room.
Exactly.
What a move.
Well,
excellent timing.
Rylan mentioned that earlier, and I meant to bring it up when we were discussing like girl Bobby. But yeah, Rylan loves when Bobby's played by a woman with the pressure of marriage, asking her gay friend to marry her. It makes way more sense, in my opinion.
I also love in that scene because there's the line that Amy says, getting married at our age, people are going to think I'm pregnant. It's just so much funnier coming from a guy.
Yeah.
Oh I didn't think of that. I love that. You have to want to marry somebody, not just somebody.
Yeah.
So many good one-liners.
So good.
Yes. Don't be afraid it won't be perfect. Be afraid it won't be. Which in Encanto took me the longest time to realize that and connect those dots, but Lynn stole it and put it in Encanto, which I adore.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, Tim, did you know that? I feel like you're
I have
watching Disney
never
movies.
noticed. I have seen Encanto. I
Encanto, yeah.
took my daughter to see it, but I fell asleep because 3D movies always put me to sleep. I don't know if it's just the dark sunglasses, but I'm always asleep by the end of them. Yeah, but I've never noticed that line specifically.
Yeah, it's in What Else Can I Do, the flower song from Isabella.
Yeah,
And,
bring it in, bring it in.
Bring it in, bring it in. I need to find it. I need to find it. Because I was singing that song to myself in the shower one day and thought, what a beautiful sentiment. And I was like, this sounds familiar. And then, what else can I do? Here we go.
You see what you look for. That's the other really good one from Company as well.
You see what? Yeah. I was like, ooh, I feel like my therapist has said that to me in a session. Yeah.
Here we go. What could I do if I just knew it didn't need to be perfect? It just needed to be. And they'd let me be. What could I do if I just knew it didn't need to be perfect? It just needed to be. And they'd let me be. So good. We love it. We love Lynn stealing from Sondheim. It's the best.
Stealing from George Firth, actually.
Wait, what?
The spoken lines in Being Alive are all written by George Firth.
Dang.
Yeah.
Good job, George.
I think it says that on the sheet music. There's a little asterisk. Stephen Sondheim and spoken lines by George Firth.
Well done.
And I mean, Sondheim was the first guy to say, like, I don't create characters. The playwright creates the characters, and I just write the songs to order for what the scenes are. Yeah.
I love that. Give credit where it's due. Also keeps reminding me that all the things I love about Into the Woods are probably more James Lapine than they are Sondheim. But I always but I always attribute to Sondheim because, like, obviously. But James Lapine is still alive, so I can write him my letter about how much I love his work.
Nice.
I was too lazy to do it with Sondheim.
Oh,
Too late, dead. Okay.
you had 92 years.
I wasn't around for all of it, Tim. I was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone, you need a writing utensil or something to write with and write on. Whether it be a phone, piece of paper. Yeah.
I am ready.
And I also actually didn't come up with a bonus question, which I never do, but I will at the end.
Is this trivia?
On the fly. No, well, kind of. It's a little bit. This is a game that we've never played before because it's very specific to this show, like to Company. As it were. So, in the spirit of Company, I have written dating profiles for famous musical theater characters. You have to tell me who the character is. That gets you 1 point. And if you can tell me the show, that gets you another point. So up to 2 points per question.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Alex, you have a question.
Did each dating profile like follow the same format? Did you research an outline for the profiles, or did you just
are you considering what like type of platform it's on? Like, is it a Hinge platform? Is it a Tinder?
It's just kind of whatever they have available to them. And also, most of these characters would be freaked out by the idea of a dating profile, so we're just lucky that they dealt with the technology.
Okay.
That's the first hint.
Okay, great.
Okay.
We love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Here we go. So, and feel free to play along in the chat. Just don't look if you're on screen. Don't look at the chat. So here we go. All right. Here we go. Very first dating profile bio. This is a single mom, recently widowed, looking to take another spin at the dating scene. Swipe right. What's the use of wondering?
Wait, what?
You heard me.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be so bad at this.
As am I. This is
single
not gonna
mom,
go well.
recently widowed.
I just got to go for humor points at this point.
Widowed.
Yeah, see, I knew that we were all theater people, so I tried to make it not too easy, but also not too hard. Like, these are all shows that you should have at the very least have heard of. So when I give you the answer, you're like, oh, I know what that is.
Is this like a 2 points for guessing the show too?
Yeah. So you got 1 point if you get the character, 1 point if you get the show. So again, our first potential match. This is a single mom, recently widowed. She's looking to take another spin at the dating scene. Swipe right. What's the use of wondering?
Let's get our answers on more words. Let's see if that helps.
Okay. Let's start with Finn. Finn, what have you got for me?
I went with the tiger from Life of Pi, the play.
Okay, very good, very good. It's not even a musical.
It's close enough. There's
Yeah,
music
you're
in
right.
it.
You're right. You're right. Lisa?
Wait.
You can steal my answer
play
if you
along,
want.
play along.
If that helps.
Okay,
Lisa.
it's someone from Into the Woods.
Okay. Okay. Tim?
I don't know if you can see that, but it's can you see that? It's Julie
Yeah.
Jordan from Carousel.
All right. And Alex?
Yeah, yeah. This is my favorite musical, basically, and even I didn't get it at first glance, but what Tim said, Julie Jordan from Carousel.
Oh, what gave it away, Alex?
Yeah.
Was it when I said spin?
No, what's the use in wondering?
Yeah.
Like the song. Like when I
Yeah.
I read just the description, and even then I was like, wait a minute, who the heck? Because no, I read the description, I saw what's the use in wondering, and I was like, that's a song from Carousel, sung by Julie Jordan. What the hell is this recently widowed blah? And I was like,
It's a dating profile.
I guess that's what widowed means, because I thought I was
Yeah.
confusing widowed with like losing your child over rather than being
No.
abandoned, like losing your husband.
No, that's only applicable if it's Jocasta, losing your child.
Yeah, I just had a brain malfunction basically.
I saw What's the Use of Wondering, and I thought of the song from the Anna Green Gables movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that got me way
Wondering.
off track.
So then why didn't you say, you should have said Gilbert Blythe?
Recently widowed.
Yeah, recently widowed 12-year-old Gilbert Blythe.
I guess it makes as much sense as what I actually said. So.
Exactly, the tiger. Okay, next. I like blondes, and despite the rumors, I do have a heart. I hope you like short guys.
I like blondes.
Somebody's rumored to be heartless.
I hope you like short
they're short.
guys.
I think I might actually have this one.
No, this is so bad. Oh.
I like blondes, and despite the rumors, I do have a heart. I hope you like short guys. What's the use of wondering if he's good or if he's... That song is so problematic. But it's so pretty.
Well, it's also anyway something that people do experience. So.
Oh, yeah. Well said, well said. Still, so pretty. The song, not the content. It's good or if he's bad. All right, is everyone ready?
Oh, no.
No? We'll go a whaling, a sailing away. Evan Bueling, say his name. There we go. That's his song on the recording. It's great.
Same.
And he probably had the lyrics in front of him when he was recording it. So
Because that man cannot memorize his lines.
okay, let's start with Alex this time. We have Frankenstein's short monster. Okay, good. Tim. What we got there?
Can you see that?
Tin Man, Wizard of Oz. Okay, Lisa.
Frank Sinatra. Guys,
Sinatra.
I don't know his name. I don't know his character name.
Finn.
Is it Bach from Wicked?
It is Bach from Wicked.
Damn.
You got. I
Which
feel.
is, I mean, he turns out to be the Tin Man.
I know. I feel like Tim. Oh, spoiler warning. Tim, you can get 1 point.
I was like, I'm pretty sure but I don't know Wicked. So
Yeah. What?
I was like,
Really?
I know that Fiyero
no.
is the scarecrow because he sings about being brainless. So I was
Right.
like, I know it's not him. I have never seen Wicked, and at this point, I'm
How
too
have you
afraid to ask.
escaped Wicked this long, Tim? That's
Yeah.
impressive.
I'm a Sondheim guy. I can't get into Schwartz.
You
Yeah.
also wrote Wizard of Oz, not Wicked, right?
Correct.
What's that?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah,
deserve
no, he wrote Wizard of Oz. No, but he said
Bach-
Tin Man, who is Bach.
But
Okay.
also Bach, like I feel, I don't know, like
What?
because Bach ends up with or at least the last chick that he's into isn't blonde, like by character.
Who is
It's
it?
it's
Who
the
is it?
sister of Elphaba.
He's not into her. He's faking it to get to Glinda.
Yeah.
Oh
And that's why she gets so bitter and jaded and becomes the
no,
Wicked
but
Witch
doesn't
of
he?
the
No, but
East.
by the end, doesn't he have a change of heart or no?
No.
I'll be honest, I've only listened to the soundtrack. I don't
No,
actually
the
know
whole-
what happens in Act 2.
No, the whole thing is that when
Doesn't he
Elphaba's
get
dead.
angry when she dies though?
No. So what happens is Elphaba and Nesseros's dad dies, who is the governor of Munchkin Land. Nesseros takes over and becomes the governess of Munchkin Land, and because she's infatuated and unhealthily obsessed with Bach, she enslaves all of the
Yeah.
Munchkins, including him, and he just goes with it because she's his ruler and he has to, but she's like a tyrant. And then
That's not in the
Elphaba,
musical, but okay.
yes, it is. Elphaba enchants the slippers so that Nessaros can walk, which is kind of ableist, but
Yeah.
it's another conversation for another day. And then she's like, oh, good, I can walk. Now Bach will finally love me. Again,
Yeah.
ableist, but whatever. And then she's like, Bach, look, I can walk now. He's like, well, this is great. Now you don't need me to help you and I can go back to Glinda. Then she
Yeah.
gets angry and she's like, well, if you're going to go to Glinda and leave me, I'm going to cast a spell on you to make sure that you can never love again. Then that shrinks his heart, makes him heartless
This is
in
not
order
the
to
musical.
save him. Yes, it is. I'm describing Act 2, Scene 2, the cut
Is this
song, Wicked Witch of the East.
Are you
It's
saying
not-
cut song?
Yes, there's
That's
a
not
song.
in the musical. Then
Yes,
it's a cut song.
It's in the music. It's not a cut song. It's in the show. It's just not on the album.
Wait, what? Wait, you're saying it's a cut
It's a
song
song that
from
was
the
cut from the album, but it's
Good night,
presently
everybody.
in the
In
show.
production,
No, it's
whenever
in
I
the
see it.
show. They didn't put it on the album because they said it was a spoiler.
So when I saw Wicked,
You
in
saw
New
that
York
number.
in 2017,
You
I
saw
saw
that
that
Yes,
song,
you saw that number. You
and I
that
saw
song.
her enslave and threaten
Yes.
Bach with
Yes.
and shrinking his heart. Okay,
Yes.
what about the whole because I think you're wonderful, beautiful, we deserve each other?
That's in
don't you
Act
see?
1. That's
Okay,
years
okay, that's
prior.
early. Okay,
That's the
So then-
origin story.
okay. So then, why does Bach get angry?
Because okay,
Alphabet turns him into a Tin Man.
It's not. Yes, it's due to her. I'm made of tin. Her spell made this occur. So
Yeah.
for once, I'm glad I'm heartless. I'll be heartless killing her.
Okay,
I hope
Yeah.
all the Sondheim people out here are really enjoying this.
okay.
Okay.
I don't even know any of this because I only focus on Alphabet and Galinda songs.
As one should. Okay, next. Here we go.
Hmm.
Some say I'm a one night only girl, but I'm telling you, I'm not going.
Oh.
God damn it.
I am telling you, I'm not going.
Some say I'm a one night only girl, but I am telling you.
What's
I'm
her
not
name
going.
though?
Yeah, that's
Question, isn't it?
That's
Do we
what
need,
we gotta
do we
find
need
out.
first
I mean-
and last name or just
Yeah,
excellent question.
Ideally. Saw a real teacup for one live stream without Alex and Matt. Yeah, each other.
That's why I come back every week. I was a little sad, Alex, when you were in here in the beginning. I was like, oh, no one's gonna yell at Matt now.
It's the that wasn't
Right.
in the musical. Yes, it was.
So good.
All right.
Um,
We're
I
gonna
feel like
start
I can
with-
remember it if only.
No, Alex is gonna go first.
All right.
Okay.
Let me invent a name quickly. Whatever. Here. All right.
Okay. We got Stephanie from Dreamgirls. Okay. Tim. What do we got?
you see that?
Yep. Effie White
Oh,
from Dreamgirls.
gosh.
Okay. Lisa. Effie White
White
from Dreamgirls.
and you and,
And
you
you. And Finn.
and you.
I put Jamie Foxx from Dreamgirls. I couldn't remember what her name was.
Is that the
Yeah, we were
music
looking for
show?
Effie White, aka Jennifer Hudson, in her Academy Award winning role. So good. Plus, also, it's a musical, and Jennifer Holliday. We like her too.
I need to rewatch the movie. That was amazing.
So good. Oh my
Is
gosh.
Effie short for Steffi, short for Stephanie?
Oh,
Yeah, you're right. You get a
No.
point, Alex.
2 points. I got Dreamgirls too.
You got 2 points.
Sucker.
This is outrageous.
I got 2 points.
Okay.
You
Great.
didn't. Okay. Next, composer, teacher, music lover, no anti-maskers. Composer,
Sure.
teacher, music lover, no anti-maskers.
I don't know. This is
What's his
this
name?
is a toughie.
It's kind of a joke answer, but what's his name?
Elizabeth gets it.
Oh, I just got
No
it.
anti-
Yes, Tim got it.
The no anti-maskers is
The Key.
messing me up.
Or is it the key?
Oh, I just got it too.
No anti-maskers. No anti-maskers. We want to have masks. I'm like talking it out. Oh my
We'll start
god.
with Lisa.
I don't know. I wrote Carol King Beautiful. I got composer. I was like, okay, teacher, music lover.
Yeah. And maybe it is.
Maybe
Maybe it
she's
is.
Getting
against
up there in
anti-masker.
years, probably concerned about not getting COVID.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Finn?
Obviously, it's the V for Vendetta musical. The main
Yeah.
character V.
Very good.
I had
Very
an
good.
idea about that company. Just saying.
Well, that'll be the closing thought. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Tim.
Said Eric, the Phantom of the Opera.
Okay, very good. Very good. And Alex?
God
Hopefully,
damn
I
it.
also get full points for this.
It's not his name.
But
not
his
his
name
name.
doesn't exist in Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, it
which is
does.
the music. No, it
Yes,
doesn't.
it does. Yes, it does.
No.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, no.
Yes, it does. His name is
They don't
Eric.
say Eric in the fucking Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, they do.
When?
All the time.
In the musical? I don't think they
Yeah,
do.
okay.
Finn, there's a book, and it's one of the few books I've read.
Well,
And
we're
his
not
name is
talking
Eric.
about fucking books.
I'm
are
not
we,
saying
Matt?
his name isn't Eric.
Don't swear on my show.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You never told me that. I'm sorry.
It's just a long beep.
Fine. Alex, you can get 2 points. You can get 2 points.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
1.5 at least.
Next. Good, old, reliable. Some might call me a gambler, but I'm betting on us.
Oh, everyone nodded like they know what it is, and now I'm in trouble. That's not good.
I don't know what I'm writing, Finn. Don't worry.
Okay.
See, Madame Giry says it at some point.
I don't believe that's true, but you
She does.
may be true, but I'm
I'm
willing
pretty
to
sure she doesn't. I
watch
don't
the
think
entire musical right
Finn,
now. too.
write your answer. Okay.
Some might call me a gambler.
But I'm
She says it in
betting
Love
on
Never
us.
Dies, probably. But if you saw the line.
I'm betting on us. You know what? I got
I-
this.
If I get the musical but not the character, I still get a point.
Yeah, you still got a point.
Okay.
Bitch and Boutique's here. Woo! Play along, friends. So the name of the game is guess the musical theater character who wrote this on their dating profile. Good, old, reliable. Some might call me a gambler, but I'm betting on us. Let's start with Tim.
I said Sky Masterson, Guys and Dolls.
Okay. Lisa.
That's his name. Frank Sinatra's role in Guys and Dolls. I
Well,
at least get 1 point.
Frank Sinatra plays Nathan Detroit.
No.
Oh.
No. He plays Sky.
No,
Think
Marlon
he,
Brando
he,
is Sky.
he wanted to play Sky.
He
and
wanted
he
to play
was
Sky, but
I
forever
wanted
mad
to
about
play
it.
Yeah.
Sky.
Okay. Finn.
I went with Eric the Phantom from Guys and Dolls.
I almost did
Okay, you
something.
get one. It was Eric. His name is Eric. Alex. Judd, Oklahoma. Ooh, no.
That's
We were actually looking for Nathan Detroit
Detroit.
from Guys and Dolls, which means
Oh.
Lisa, you get 2 points.
yeah, because I incorrectly thought Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra was Sky.
There you go. But it worked out for you. Why it's good old reliable Nathan,
Oh, yeah.
Nathan
Yeah.
Detroit.
And where's the I'm betting? Does he say I'm betting on us
No.
with
You know what it was?
Oh, he does
I
the
wrote.
craps. you
I
know?
wrote Nathan Detroit originally, and then I was like, wait a minute, Nathan is desperate not to get married.
There
He
you
spends
go.
the entire show trying to not get married to
married.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also
Yeah.
like he's also pleading to her that he loves her.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
mean,
this is an alternate reality, Tim, where he has access to like Tinder. So
Yeah.
Adelaide's
he-
gone.
He is the Bobby
He
of
is Bobby.
Guys and Dolls.
He is.
Next, fashionista who sometimes goes a step too far. Every story is a love story. Be part of mine.
Fashionista.
A fashionista who sometimes goes a step too far. Every story is a love story. Be a part of mine.
Be a part of mine.
This is one of the questions I threw in thinking I need to add some hard ones. But even with this being a difficult question, if you know this show, 2 songs are outright named in this clue. Like the titles of 2 songs are here.
Clearly, I do not know the show.
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know. I have a guess, but I know
Okay,
it's
let's start with Lisa.
Elle Woods, Legally Blonde.
Okay. Finn?
I went with Linus from Your Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Okay. Alex?
I'm just finishing it up.
Ursula, little. Okay.
She doesn't
Tim?
step. She's
I went with the character is Fashion Man from the musical Fashionista.
Exclamation point. I love it.
Sadly, you're all wrong. We were looking for Amneris from Aida.
what?
No?
Those were words.
I've never
I've
seen.
never heard of that.
It's one of the.
I've heard of
greatest
Aida, but
musicals ever.
I've never
Yeah.
seen.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
written by
say it again.
Elton John.
Who's
Amneris from
Amneris
Aida.
from
Yes.
Aida.
Yeah. So A Step Too Far is one of the songs. Every Story is a Love Story is the opening song that she sings. She's a princess. We love her. She sings My Strongest Suit.
Matt's making this up. This is-
No, it's a real show.
No.
It's a real show.
Yeah.
No.
It's a real
You-
show. Did anyone, Elizabeth, you know it, right? Right in the chat. Okay. Too difficult. Next. Feisty Italian woman who loves the beach and banging tambourines.
Oh,
Why should I
What?
be Italian?
It's quite crucial to this character to be Italian. It is
Mm.
very crucial for her to be Italian.
It's very
oh,
crucial.
it's
Italian.
what's her name?
I inadvertently just gave a massive clue.
Yeah.
It was a big one.
Very important that she's Italian.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where are you in the comments? Who is Italian in musical theater?
There's a couple of them.
Hmm.
Italian.
Is the Phantom Italian? I don't.
More importantly, is his name Eric? And do they say it in the music?
Hold on.
See, Elizabeth can confirm. I'm not making it up. I've heard of Aida. I'm familiar with a few songs. I don't know the show well. I didn't get that one. But she knows I'm not making it up. One of my very first videos on this channel was me talking about the best Disney princess that no one knows about. And it's Aida, because she is the best Disney princess.
Is it Disney?
It is Disney. It's a Disney produced musical that at one point was maybe going to be a movie, then they like an animated film. Then they decided, no, let's just make it a musical. Elton John wrote the music, and it is incredible. I adore Aida.
How much?
Highly
do you
recommend.
adore Aida?
It's like it might even on certain days it's in my top 5 musicals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with Tim.
The character is Fergie from the musical Nine. I believe the character's name was Fergie.
Fergie. Okay. Finn.
I put Meryl Streep from Mamma Mia.
She is not Italian, but I like that.
Lisa.
Well, by proxy.
Okay, I think this is it because I know Vince, my partner, loves this musical. It's Louisa from Nine.
Okay.
Oh.
Alex. Esmeralda. That takes place in.
Isn't there a
France.
tambourine song in that musical?
Yeah, there is.
That's all I'm going on. Like, where have I heard the word tambourine in the musical?
There we go. Elizabeth knows again. The Be Italian lady from Nine. Cannot think of her name. It starts with S. It's
Oh!
Seragina.
Is that
Played by Fergie.
Seragina.
So Tim got a point for Fergie. Yes, you little Italian devils, you want to know about the love. Seragina, she will tell you. In order to make a woman happy, you must rely on what you were born with because it is in your blood.
who is Louisa in the movie?
Marion Cotillard.
Oh, yes, she's French.
I've never even heard of this musical. What? I don't even know.
You haven't heard of Nine?
You haven't heard of Nine?
It's hot. It's terrible, but it's hot.
Have you heard of what's the is it not
Apparently,
it's
you
not
haven't even
Chicago,
heard
is
of
it?
whatever this is. I know.
Yeah, but I know about Nine and I know another song from it.
I
Which
feel
one?
like a lot of people know
The-
Nine because of Penelope Cruz's number in it.
Yeah.
Penelope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Or
doesn't-
and it's the number Jane Krakowski won a Tony Award for doing on Broadway.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, she did this whole thing that's amazing that you can find on YouTube where she came down from the ceiling on silks, but they were white silks to make it look like she was in bed sheets. and it essentially like she's dressed to look like she's naked under the silks, where she's doing all these acrobatics whilst singing like a not easy song and belting her face off, and it's amazing. Like it ends with her wrapping herself in the silks and like hanging upside down while she's being lifted up into the rafters. It's amazing.
That sounds very steamy.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
give her all the awards because we love Jane Krakowski. Next, up and coming filmmaker and self-proclaimed bohemian, just looking for someone to call my bluff.
Up and coming filmmaker. I got this.
We got you.
We believe in you.
Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Thank you.
I auditioned for that.
You did?
What?
Did you
Yeah,
get it?
so you that guy like that. Oh yeah, you got this. We got you. Capital One. What's in your wallet? I said those lines a couple of different takes, so every time
Cool.
it comes on, I'm reminded that.
That it could have been you.
So-
Yeah, nice. I have nothing to add to that. Okay, let's start with Finn.
It's got to be Mark from Rent, right?
Okay, we're always
It
here
has
for
to
your,
be.
we're always here for your joke answers. Lisa.
Oh,
Mark from Rent.
Okay. Hold on. Tim.
I said Mark Cohen from Rent.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah, that's the one. Maybe we'll see. Alex, what do you think?
I say
Galileo from your
but that's the joke answer. I actually meant fuck you.
Alex.
I actually wrote down Mark from Rent.
It is Mark from Rent.
I see what you did,
Oh, so he-
Bohemian.
That was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That was a good one. That was easy.
That's true. We should give extra points for last names, but
oh,
I didn't. I've already written.
Come
Okay. Screw that
on.
now. Okay, here we go. We'll say this is the last one from the regular round. I'm going to save the last question for the bonus round because I don't have a bonus question. Okay. A singer with heart, recently incarcerated, looking to embrace my world full of yes.
Oh,
Heart. Is heart supposed to be spelt that way?
Oh
No,
no,
it's
a
a typo.
typo. How embarrassing.
pay no attention to the heart. That definitely doesn't give it away.
I
Nor
went
does the
from,
world full of yes.
went from a couple of
Or
musicals that I'm
incarcerated.
pretty sure don't actually exist to Rent.
Wait, what?
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 Yeah,
What did you
okay.
just say?
Nothing. It's fine. Never
We're
mind.
good, we're good. Okay, let's start with Finn.
Roxy Hart from Chicago.
Okay, that's a guess. Lisa.
Roxy Hart from Chicago.
Okay, that's also a guess. Oh wait, hold on. This isn't you that I'm giving points to. Let me take 1 point away from Alex. There we go.
Whoa.
Well, maybe he'll earn it back. Alex,
Wait, I'm writing my joke answer.
are you?
Yeah. Okay, done. I say
Roxy Hart from Chicago.
no.
No.
Kevin Hart
Hart.
from
Oh, Kevin
Chicago.
Hart.
But yeah, Roxy Hart from.
Okay.
No.
Did you say Foxy Hart?
No, I said Roxy.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Roxy.
Roxy.
ROXIEHART in the spotlights.
Yeah, with the
Ooh.
hashtag at Stratford for some
Hashtag
reason.
Stratford.
Yeah,
You have too much.
There was a hashtag.
there
There
was in
Oh.
Roxy. There was a
Roxy
hashtag,
Hart, yeah.
even though nothing else in that production was anachronistic.
Well, how else would kids
was.
understand it?
That's true. And then actually, after the hashtag came out, she looked at the audience and she was like, "Follow me." And then I Googled, or not Googled, I went onto Instagram. Stratford didn't even capitalize on that hashtag.
Wow.
If you're gonna
Too
commit,
much
like
money.
commit to it, Stratford. If you're gonna, but whatever. Okay, Tim, what'd you say?
Roxy Hart
Roxy.
from Chicago.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, here we go. So your point totals are: Finn has 8, Lisa has 9, Alex has 9, Tim has 14. How many points would we like to wager for the bonus question?
6.
Okay, Lisa's going for 6. Nice. Alex,
It's gotta be 5.
gotta be 5. Okay. Tim,
Wait, who had the most points after me?
Lisa, and Alex were tied with 9.
9. Oh no! Now I have to do math. I'll wager 5 points.
5. Okay. Finn,
I'm all in, Alex.
All in. Okay. Here
I
we
just
go.
realized there's
Oh,
another
I see.
Alex in the group, actually. That joke doesn't make as much sense. But
Final dating profile. Man with a vivid imagination, a hopeless romantic chasing an impossible dream.
Lol. That's a terrible bonus question.
Well, it was going to be a normal question, but I didn't think of a bonus question. So this is the last one I had in the lineup.
Actually, I guess I might be wrong on this, so maybe it's a great one.
the annoying thing is I don't know the character's name.
That's what I'm questioning.
Y-
I think I
yeah,
do know it.
it's a show within a show with a guy playing another guy. So
Oh shit!
What?
You're gonna lose me the point, Tim. Why'd you spoil that? I only know the guy he's playing. I don't know what the actor.
I mean, I'm not even. I don't know.
You know, 14
I don't
points,
know.
you know.
I don't know what Matt wants the answer to be.
Give me
Let
as
alone
much give me as much info as you have, and maybe you'll triple your points.
Okay, well,
If the character has two names, and give me both names, that's enough for me to give you that equal amount of points.
Everything you've ever dreamed.
Everything you've ever dreamed, impossibly.
okay.
Yeah.
No idea.
Let's start with Finn.
Oh, of course. Well, good old Eric from the Man of La Mancha.
Okay. Okay. Lisa?
Greatest Showman, the Hugh Jackman character.
Okay. Okay. Tim? No, we'll do Tim last. Alex?
Well,
Don Quixote.
Oh.
Okay. And Tim?
I said Miguel Cervantes / Don Quixote, Man of La Mancha.
Damn.
Tim, that's enough to get you triple your points. You get your wager for Miguel, you get your wager for Don Quixote, and you get your wager for Man of La Mancha, which means 14 plus 15, 29. You won, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
I appreciate
thank you. Thank you. Well done, everybody. Well done. All right. There we go. Anything else you want to say about Company or musical theater characters dating profiles?
oh yeah, my idea.
Oh, yes.
Do the show, but everybody except for Bobby is wearing the anonymous / V for Vendetta mask, the guy / Guy Fawkes mask.
Cool.
And we do something to them. They all wear the mask and they're all in black, like full, long sleeve, like their body suits, whatever. So you don't see their skin. And we get them all wigs. They have the Guy Fawkes V for Vendetta wig.
Obviously.
And we do something so that they're all physically androgynous. So they're not obviously male or female based on their like body type / build / whatever. So that they don't have to all look the same, quote unquote, but they have to not give it away. So yeah, that's my idea.
All art is valid, Alex. So
Thank you.
Good for you.
Specifically using the V for Vendetta masks, though.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Apparently, there's a third name you could have gotten extra points for.
Yes, that's
There you
right.
go.
I was scrambling to
said
figure out
possible.
who the third.
Eric? Oh, okay.
Eric, yeah.
No, I don't
Eric's
think. I think she's saying the Don Quixote.
No. Eric's done. We're past Eric. Alex.
Yeah, no. I
So-
was just triggered when she said that in parentheses
Extra
to say
name.
like, wait a minute, you mean Eric? I said in the Phantom of the Opera, but I don't
right.
think that's what you mean.
Well, we'll investigate. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. Quick go around, closing thoughts on Company. What you want to leave the world with for your personal take on the show, Finn.
Well, first off, thank you, Matt, for having me. This was a lot of fun. I love the show, and you see what you look for,
Mm.
And I look for you, and I see you, Finn. So there we go. Brilliant, Lisa.
I love it. I love it. Like Mervish, let's do Company together.
Yes, I'm there. Make it happen, Tim.
I'm going to be in company in October. So if you want to come to the city of Guelph, the mecca of musical theater, to see that production, it's going to be great. We've got an amazing cast. And yeah, then you get to see my take, not on the show, but my take on Bobby.
Bobby. My bonus question was going to be how many times has Bobby said or sung in the show, but I couldn't find it.
You know? Oh.
And I wasn't going to count it. I couldn't do that to myself. Alex, closing thoughts.
Haven't seen Company in a little bit. It's a show. Go check out Tim in Guelph if you want to see it soon.
Brilliant. All right. It's that time where we do our sign off. So now for those of us who are new, this is where you just get to plug anything you want to plug, whether it be Instagrams, shows. Tim, plug it again. Let everyone know. We're going to start with Lisa. Boom.
Hi, everyone. You can find me here next week. I think we're reviewing Assassins.
It's
That's
Assassins.
exciting. Oh my gosh. So yes, see me next week. You can follow me in the meantime on Instagram at Lisa_A_Alves, where you can see all my theater, hamster, and me content. See you next week.
See you next week. Boom.
You can find my stuff on my website, finncuthbert.com, or on my Instagram, FCPianoman. What? I don't know what you're saying. You can also see me in Avenue Q in Toronto right now. It's running till the end of May. I'm swinging for all the leads. And I'm also constantly releasing music and more musicals, and possibly some more music is on the way very soon. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Woo.
You could come see me as Bobby in Company this October at the Art Bar in downtown Guelph. Tickets are only $30 and they'll be on sale soon. You can also hear me on Audible as an audiobook narrator if you want to listen to one of the books that I've narrated.
I do want that.
That's an option.
That's great. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Tim in Guelph in Company. This is brilliant. Tim is brilliant. Oh, I love this show so much. I hope everything goes well. Six Semper Tyrannis!
And my name is Matt, and this is my channel. So if you're joining us, thank you so much. Join us again next week, where we will be discussing another Sondheim musical, potentially his most controversial, if not the most controversial musical, maybe ever. Not bad things. Real life things have happened because of this musical. We're talking about Assassins. So join us then. Until then, my name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and this has been the Tea Cup for One. How do I end this?